The perfect top 10 picks of the 2025 NFL draft right here, right now on the Draft Rankings show. I'm Cody Carpentier, joined as always at 7 a.m. Eastern Time for you here on the Draft Rankings YouTube show and on podcast. The top 10. If you don't get the top 10 right, you ain't going to win the mock draft challenge in April, hosted by the Huddle Report. What we're going to do is continue our series on perfectly projecting the top 10 picks. It's free agency week right now, so we're in the middle of some mud. So if you open this thing up and you start listening, and all of a sudden a quarterback signs somewhere or something happens at a position that's a high dollar deal, or a trade happens, right? And it's like, okay, well, that doesn't make sense. Just evade the pick. But for now, 10 picks, 10 minutes, let's go. Number one overall selection, we're going to start out with the Tennessee Titans, of course, because they are sitting there at number one overall. When you look at what the Tennessee Titans have done so far in free agency, it's really not a ton. They brought in defensive tackle Sebastian Joseph Day just a couple of days ago. They move on from Harold Landry. They bring in Dan Moore, a left tackle, on a mega deal. So you can kind of, axe out left tackle, but left tackle was never really a question at number one. For me, the number one pick comes down to Cam Ward, or do they go Abdul Carter? They lose Harold Landry. It feels like it's still Abdul Carter. Cam Ward feels like he's growing and growing and growing. It makes sense for Tennessee to potentially go Cam Ward here. There's no real quarterback left in the market. At time of recording, Aaron Rodgers has not signed yet, but the lean is towards the Steelers. And if not them, then the Giants. So to me, it's Tennessee and Cleveland that need quarterbacks. I'm not sure Cleveland goes the direction, but I am sure that Cam has to come off at some point. So I think Cam Ward is going to be the first pick in the 2025 NFL draft. So we're going to go that direction with the Tennessee Titans. With the second selection, we're going to go ahead and go to the Cleveland Browns, who are picking here at 2. And the Cleveland Browns, who need a running back, need a quarterback. They did make a move, though, for Kenny Pickett here in the first couple of days of legal tampering. They signed Cornelius Lucas to a small deal. They, of course, extended Myles Garrett 4 years, $160 million on that extension. They converted a ton of Deshaun Watson's cash into a signing bonus to free up $35 million in cap space. I think they drafted a running back later. They have Myles Garrett. Abdul Carter's available right now. Do they draft Shedeur Sanders is the question. Does Cleveland go Shedeur, or does Cleveland go Abdul Carter? Right now, I think they go Shedeur. I'm going to go Shedeur. I'm going back to this quarterback thing. I've yet to do a mock like this where Abdul Carter falls out of the top 2 picks, but that's the state of the draft. That's the state of trying to perfectly project the top 10. Again, we're literally 6 weeks out from the NFL draft. We got a couple of things to learn still through this process, but we're going to continue to do just that. Next up is the New York Giants picking at 3. They gave Paulson Adebo from New Orleans a 3-year, $54 million contract of note. Chauncey Golston, an edge rusher, 3 years, $20 million. Javon Holland, a safety, 3 years, $45 million. They're in the sweepstakes right now for Aaron Rodgers and maybe Russell Wilson if that flames out. But they do need a quarterback. The problem is they're not taking one right here. And whether it's best case or worst case scenario, Abdul Carter's here and Travis Hunter is here. Again, they just paid Paulson Adebo to play corner. They have Deonte Banks, a first-round pick from 2 years ago on the roster. They could still fit Travis Hunter in here, who can play receiver next to Malik Neighbors and their $12 million receiver in Darius Slayton. On the edge, though, imagine you have Brian Burns, you have Kayvon Thibodeau, if you can add an Abdul Carter into that inside of those two guys. I think that's interesting. Would they do it? I don't see how I can potentially have Abdul Carter fall past here. I don't see it. Travis Hunter makes the most sense right here, but I don't see how I can have Abdul Carter fall past this. Let's go Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter to the New York Giants. He joins Malik Neighbors and a hypothetical Russell Wilson in this receiver room, and he plays cornerback alongside Adebo and Deonte Banks. I don't know. I don't love it. I'll be honest with you guys. You You know what? I'm not going to do that. Let's go back. I mean, we don't really got that much time, to be honest with you. This is a quick show, and we're trying to rip through these 10 picks. We're already halfway through. Let's just go Abdul Carter. So pick number 1 is going to be Cam Ward. The Browns are going to take Shador Sanders, and the Giants run that card up for Abdul Carter. They have Kayvon Thibodeau. He's got a couple years left in his contract. The Brian Burns contract. They just traded for Brian Burns last year. Brian Burns is in the middle of a 5-year, $141 million contract. It doesn't expire until 2029. What is better than having 2 edge rushers that are freaks? Having 3. So go get that third one here with Abdul Carter. The 4th pick overall, the New England Patriots, who've been active here in free agency to this point. They go out and they sign Morgan Moses to play right tackle, Milton Williams to play on the defensive line, Carlton Davis to play corner. Here's the thing. They got Drake May. You go up there and you get Travis Hunter. He's here at 4. You can use a corner opposite of Christian Gonzalez. You can use a receiver. I don't think you overstep here and draft a tackle at 4. I think this is a potential trade back spot, but I'm going to go ahead and run the card up for Travis Hunter here at 4 overall because to this point, the Patriots have flamed out on trying to trade for a wide receiver. They tried to sign Godwin. They tried to trade for DK Metcalf. Maybe they're trying to get George Pickens, but they haven't gotten them so far. Go get Travis Hunter. Ask him to play wide receiver. Number 5 overall, the Jacksonville Jaguars have made some moves, right? They've departed quite a few pieces the Jacksonville Jaguars have over the course of the last couple of days. But they have done one thing, right? They got the GM right. And I think that they're going to continue to try to push here. They got De'Ami Brown, 1-year, $10 million contract. They brought in a safety. They brought Jordan Lewis, the cornerback, in. They got a new center, Robert Hainsey from Tampa. It's a really nice pick. Patrick Mercari, 3-year, $37 million to play guard. They're doing the right thing. But one place they have not addressed yet, tight end, receiver, guard, left tackle, center, right? Corner, safety. What have I not said yet? Defensive line. Mason Graham is the selection here. This is going to be maybe my locked-in spot here over the course of the next 6 weeks. Mason Graham goes 5 to the Jags. Number 6 overall, the Las Vegas Raiders are up. They're on the clock, and we got to get fast. So we're not going to have a lot of conversation here. We're just going to start making these picks. They gave Max Crosby an extension. Jeremy Chin enters chat left. Alex Kappa, a good guard, enters chat left. Malcolm Kuntz re-signs. They're doing things the right way. They bring in Geno Smith. They have to continue to answer the question, answer the bell in Las Vegas. Tet McMillan's available. Ashton Genty's available. When I look at this Raiders offense, though, there's a massive hole at left guard where Jordan Meredith's sitting. There's a couple of holes on defense. But I think the main thing that stands out is just that, first off, well, they haven't spent that running back either. I mean, the best running back on the roster is Zamir White and Sincere McCormick. But when you look at the best available players right now, Will Campbell's been looked at as the best offensive lineman. I think you bring him in to play left guard in 2025 for the Raiders. All right, number 7, the New York Jets are on the clock. Again, we got a couple minutes left to get through all these picks. The Jets so far have done nothing other than sign Justin Fields to play quarterback and Brandon Stevens to play corner back. So for the New York Jets, they got a couple of needs here. Left tackle, where Olu Fashanu was drafted to play last year. He played right. If they play him at left, they need to get a right. I think they do that. They got Fashanu to play left. They draft Armand Membu here at 7 overall to play right tackle. You got Olu Fashanu at left, Armand Membu at right. The offensive line is all of a sudden dialed in. The Carolina Panthers, one of the hammer picks of the draft here is Jalen Walker from Georgia. I absolutely love it. Number 9, the New Orleans Saints on the clock. They made some moves, actually restructuring Derek Carr's contract. They go and re-sign Juwan Johnson, re-sign Chase Young. I guess technically re-sign Dante Pettis. But the New Orleans Saints have some other things to do. I do think this is an interesting spot for potentially a Tet McMillan. Lucas Patrick is a free agent right now at left guard. The defense is pretty well put together. Sleeper spot here. They're going to go Tyler Booker, guard, Alabama, for the New Orleans Saints. Kind of sniping, I guess, Chicago, who actually, got a center, a guard, and a guard. Chicago's put together an offensive line to make note of over the course of the last month with Joe Thuney, Drew Dahlman from Atlanta, and Jonah Jackson from the Rams. This offensive line is looking better and better as the days go by. What they do need, though, is to continue to add pieces on this offense. They can go best player available. Do they want to go Ashton Genty? Maybe. Would I do that? Probably not. What I would probably do if I was the Chicago Bears is probably something along the lines of a defensive line. That's the direction I would go here. Maybe a Kenneth Grant. Maybe I go offensive tackle even with a Kelvin Banks and try to have him play left tackle. I think those are interesting things. But just to spice it up, let's just do the thing. Let's just do the thing right here. Make this offense super potent. You just bolster the interior of the offensive line. You got the quarterback, you got the receivers. Put the running back, put the crown on top of this offense. Ashton Jeanty to the Chicago Bears. There's the top 10 picks of the 2025 NFL Draft. Getting the top 10 right is the most important. Cam Ward, Shador, Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter, Mason Graham, Will Campbell to the Raiders, Membu to the Jets, Jalen Walker to the Panthers, Tyler Booker to the Saints, and Ashton Jeanty, the running back from Boise, goes to Chicago.